Pascal, you are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold up, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live, somebody. Let's go.
Good evening. Good morning and good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys all doing well out there. Hope this show finds you in good spirits, because another day above the dirt is always a blessing. Let's not forget that. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the show. Welcome, 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 welcome to the show. We got a lot to talk about. There is, or at least one main thing that we need to talk about today. And it's just been percolating out here in these streets. We can't not talk about it. It would be absolutely insane for us to miss this conversation. And I'm telling you, yeah, we're about to get into the politics. We're about to get into, we're going to be waxing political right now. Okay, it is what it is. Okay, I'm sorry, but it is what it is. They mucking it up, y'all. They making some mistakes, y'all. So we got to talk about it. Sorry, not sorry. So we got to talk about it. Okay, so do me a favor before we get into everything. Hit that like button down below. Crush it. Do what it do. Hit that reaction button, please. And thank you for watching on these other platforms. If you are watching on these other platforms like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick, make sure you're following me on all those platforms. Please and thank you. Okay. We do have something we got to talk about here in a little bit, which I'm very excited about. Okay. So make sure you are subscribed here on this main channel. Go to my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips. Okay. Subscribe over there as well. Make sure you're subscribed. All right. That'll be greatly, greatly appreciated. All right. Hit that notification bell so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because it's random. All right. Except for one channel that's going to be more on a scheduled thing, which I'm looking forward to talking to you guys about here in a second. So make sure you're subscribed to these main channels. All right? Please and thank you. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Support the channel. Support the show. Support me if you can. That'd be greatly appreciated. Hit that Patreon. Check out my Patreon. Check out Locals. And, of course, check out PascalMerch.com. Okay? PascalMerch.kazams. All right, we got some really great stuff over there. PascalMerch.com. Okay. Okay, guys, we got some things we got to talk about. There's a few things that I want to rap with you guys about. In fact, I forgot to pull this up. Dag nabbit. I hate when I do that. Sheesh. So let me just pull this up to make sure I have it up and ready to go for all y'all ashes. Okay. 1 second here. All righty. Dag nabbit. Where the hell is it? So there's a couple things I want to talk to you guys about. Okay, there's a few things. There's something I want to share with y'all. Okay, which of course I'm definitely very hype about. Okay, something I have not been able to do, or something I've been wanting to do for a long time. Okay, but I haven't gotten a chance really to do it until finally now I said, F it. It's time to do it. Okay. This is something I've been talking about been wanting to do for years. Okay. I just want to make that abundantly clear. This is something I've been wanting to do for a very, very long time. Years, guys. I'm not joking. Okay. So I feel, first off, compelled, moved, etc., to share something with you guys. I do have something pinned to the top of the chat, and I recommend, and I plead every single one of y'all to please go over and at least just go and check out the video. Okay, check out the link. Click on the link. Go and check it out. That would really, really be appreciated. But also, here's the thing. Okay, something I've been wanting to do for the longest time. Okay, seriously, for the longest time, I've been wanting to do this, but I've been very hesitant to do it. And I said, F it. We're just going to rip the Band-Aid off and start doing it today. And that's literally what happened to me. Okay, today. Literally today, I woke up and I said, F it. We're going to do this. And that is, I started a new channel. Now, let me explain what this new channel is, because I know some of y'all are like, man, come on, man. Damn. You already do enough, man. Damn. Okay, so here it is. First off, I get it. You still going to get the daily dose of the Pascal Show. You still going to get all that. Trust and believe. This is another channel. It's called Pascal Raw. It is literally just my unhinged thoughts about things that are going on in the world on a weekly basis. Not a daily basis, a weekly basis. Okay? So this is called Pascal Raw. It will be like a 45-minute to hour plus long show where I'm just talking to you guys. Okay, I know I'm already doing that on this show, but I'm always, I'm relying on videos. I'm relying on things, but this is more of in the vein of a traditional, good old-fashioned podcast. So it's free-flowing, free-form, and we just talk about how crazy the world is and how we just have to deal with it and sit on the sidelines and watch it popping popcorn and watching the crazy world go down in a barrel of burning cat piss. Yes, I said it. So this is the new channel. Don't worry. This channel, the Pascal Show, ain't going nowhere. Okay, still going to be giving you guys daily and consistent live or pre-recorded videos on this channel. That's not going to change. But of course, there's a lot of things I don't really say on this channel that I don't feel right to say on this channel. Hence the reason why I'm creating a whole new sandbox where I get to say wherever the F I want to say. Okay? So that's where that's going on. Okay? Here's another example. There's a lot of comedians that will just riff. They're just talking about their day. They talk about things that are going on in the world, and they're putting in their 2 cents. They're not reading any articles. They're not doing anything of that sort. They're just talking about those things and throwing in their own jokes, their own thoughts about what's going on in the world. Okay? That's exactly what I'm going to be doing as well. So, but at the same time, let me just be real. It'll make you laugh. It'll make you think, hopefully, right? Kind of like this show, except a lot more raw. Okay? Yeah, raw dogging. Just like how Diddy likes it. But you see what I'm saying? Except now, instead of me just saying the hibbity-dibbity, I'll be saying other things. You see what I'm saying? So let me just make this abundantly clear. Okay, newsflash. If you didn't get why it says Pascal Raw, here's a heads up. This will not be for children. Okay. Now, it's not like I'm somebody who curses every other word. I'm not that kind of guy. Okay. But there will be words that kids will be like, Daddy, what's the F word mean? And you're going to be like, damn, Pascal, because you listen to the Raw show. You see what I'm saying? Okay. So I just want to make that abundantly clear. Yeah. Hibbity dibbity. We're going to say it over here. But over there, it's a little bit more real. Like you went to go see a comedy show, right? You went to go to the local comedy corner, whatever they call it, in your respective towns, and adults can be adults and have a few beers and laugh and cry and be angry about things, right? And shake your fist at things. Do people still shake their fist at things? I know Diddy shakes his fist, but it's more down below. Sorry. I am sorry. But you get what I'm saying. Okay. By the way, Varissa, damn right. Yeah, I mean, let me tell you something. My thumbnail game has been on fire lately. I just want to let you know. I'm going to say it for myself. I'm very impressed with my work. Okay? These thumbnails have been out of control. Thank you. Okay? They have been out of control, baby. And I'm proud of it. You got Diddy and the Epi in a speedboat going away in a speedboat with paper flying out with the island up in flames. You know what I'm saying? Come on now. You know what I mean? I'm trying to give you guys entertainment. From the moment you look at it, you're entertained. And then you hit it, and then you get into the show, and then you consume more news and entertainment. That is my goal. Okay, guys? And that's exactly what you're going to get over. That's exactly what you're going to get over at Pascal Raw. Now, here's the thing. I know this might be a big ask, okay? That sounded weird. Pause. But still, this might be a big ask, but I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. I want to get there fast. If I could get there super fast on Pascal Raw, that would be dope as hell. Okay. And so let me make sure. Well, obviously the link to the video is over there. It's pinned to the top. All I'm asking you guys to do is, take a second, watch the video if you care to watch it. I'm just explaining to you what this channel is going to be all about. Okay. If you can, subscribe. Okay. I'm trying to get quickly. I would love to get it monetized immediately. Yes, I'm greedy. Okay. I got mouths to feed, man. Okay. All right. I do this for a living, dag nabbit. All right. So if you can help a brother out, get over there, subscribe. I would love to get to 1,000. Obviously, we haven't done a video yet. A video will be coming out on Sunday, which I'm looking forward to sharing with you guys. It'll be the first pancake of hopefully many. But like I said, I'm really looking forward to getting over there to 1,000, getting things moving, getting that bad boy on and popping. And I will also say this too. This is also a step in the direction to what a lot of you guys are wanting me to end up doing, which is, well, we're going to talk about that in another show, okay, in the future, okay? First things first, getting this thing moving, get this idea out of my brain, something I've been scared to do, and I finally said, F it, we going to do it. You know what I mean? We just going to do it, okay? So let me pin this to the chat. Hold on. No. Actually, I'm going to leave the video up for a second. And then when we get to it, I'll ask the mods, okay, to put up the link one more time. And then I'll pin the link to the, you know what I mean? Okay. So please take a second, go check it out. All right. You guys are inspiring me to do this. I'm being dead ass. You guys are the ones who are inspiring me to take this step in this particular direction. Okay. And this is me getting there. Does that make sense? All right. So just be ready for some laughs, be ready for some conversations, and be ready for just a fun show, hopefully, right? Once a week, okay? Every Sunday, you'll have a show. All right? Just so you guys know. So the first one will be coming in this Sunday. Just so you know. Okay? All right. And again, thank you, Dustin. I appreciate it, man. Thank you all who are subbing, all that stuff, okay? Thank you. I really appreciate it. You know what I mean? It really means a lot. And I'm telling you right now, you won't be sorry, okay? It'll be fun. It'll be thought-provoking. It's basically this show, but not this show, right? Like I said, I'm not pulling up anything. I'm not pulling up, videos and articles or anything like that. I'm just talking to you guys, okay? But I'm talking about things that are going on in the world. You know how it is, okay? But like I said, just me talking about things and having a good time, okay? Podcast for real, like as podcasts can be, okay? So go subscribe, check out the video, hit the like, subscribe, please and thank you, okay? And we're going to get straight into this conversation. Now, here's the thing. There's something that just happened before we go into the show. Something happened with Diddy, okay? Again, now that's not the part that's really exciting and surprising, okay? Because we already been known about the diddler and everything. But something now just popped off that I think is very interesting for you guys to hear about. And this has to do with, okay, Diddy's family has been getting pulled into this mess, and now Biggie Smalls' son is getting pulled into this mess as well. And what I mean by that is, well, wait a second, that's like not even the full title. Here's the title. Okay, real quick before we go into our main conversation, the main event for the day. Here's some very interesting exclusive information that just came out, and I still am going, wait, is this for real? You gotta be kidding me, yo. This cannot be real. So apparently Biggie's son is being added into a lawsuit. Yeah, Diddy is now alleged of being helped by Biggie Smalls' son, CJ Wallace, in a situation where a man that goes by John Doe, okay, he's hiding behind the pseudonym, claims that CJ Wallace helped Diddy do some crimes on this man. Now, I want you guys to remember, this is the same guy, by the way. I don't know if you guys saw my pop-up video, but in that pop-up video, he basically said that Diddy went skadoosh, okay, in clothing that belonged to Biggie Smalls. And of course, Biggie Smalls at this point, when the ejaculate happened, Diddy, Notorious B.I.G. had long been dead, okay? But apparently, Diddy went skadoosh into some clothing that belonged to Notorious B.I.G. and then just hurled it onto this specific accuser. This same accuser is saying that he was a victim in another situation that involved Biggie Smalls' son and Diddy. Now, don't worry. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. Please understand, this is some weird ass ish, okay? What in the hell is really going on here? And I'm still trying to understand. I'm literally trying to wrap my mind around this whole thing, okay? Because this guy's saying not only was he attacked once, but he's been attacked twice. And the second time, Biggie Smalls' presence was still involved. One was the shirt, and now you got CJ Wallace, Biggie Smalls' son, being involved in this as well. I don't know what's going on. Okay, I really don't know what's going on. But apparently, he said that Diddy, put his, his manhood, put it in his, in his gob. Okay. And I really don't know. I really don't know. I don't know what to make of this one. Okay. I really don't know what to make of this one. So let's take a look at this. This is insane. Before we go into the epi and the Ghislaine and in the you know what I mean, because we are going to be talking about that ad nauseum here in a second. All right, but this just basically fell on my desk right before we started this show, and I'm like, I can't not talk about this. And yes, Medusa, I agree 110%. He is most definitely flipping in his grave right now. Because again, it's like, wait a second. This dude alleges that Diddy finished on his clothing. And then not only just that, his son is involved, is one of Diddy's goons bringing in these people, making them become victims of SA and SB. That doesn't make any sense. You see what I'm saying? It just doesn't make any earthly sense. But okay, we here. We going to talk about it because this is something that is really going on. Okay. But dear God, what an insane situation. So the person that's accusing Diddy, this is this, like I said, let me remind you, this is the same dude, okay, that accused Diddy of tossing this wet Notorious B.I.G. t-shirt. Okay. Let me just remind you, he finished, wiped himself clean with allegedly a Notorious B.I.G. t-shirt or a shirt and tossed it on him. Just, you know what I'm saying? Goo, right? So he's saying the same dude. This is the same dude, Okay. He's also claiming that Puff had a noticeable accomplice acting as a henchman during a separate SA incident. Biggie Smalls' son, CJ Wallace. What in the hell? So this is CJ Wallace, okay? Clearly, that's Diddy over there to the right of the screen. All right. Looking like he's just in the middle, near the end of a freak off right there. But again, there's CJ Wallace, his son. And apparently Diddy is saying, or not Diddy, this John Doe is saying that CJ is one of his goons. According to the complaint filed during the 4th of July holiday, John Doe claims Biggie Smalls' son was among a group of men who lured him to a Revolt TV location in 2020 via a Combs Corporation vehicle, where he says he was then ambushed and led to another room where Diddy was waiting. As John Doe's head was held by others, he claims Diddy attempted to stuff himself, okay, if you get what I'm saying, stuff himself into the plaintiff or into the accuser's mouth, all the while screaming at him that his days working for Bad Boy were over as punishment for clashing earlier. So apparently Diddy was screaming at the guy while his, whatnot is in this man's face. I'll just say that. Okay? So this John Doe believes that the CC, the Combs Corporation team, okay, snapped a photo of the actual event as humiliating evidence and says when he was able to escape back to the vehicle's location, CJ and an entrepreneur by the name of Willie Mack and other individuals were there to transport him home. So after all of this, he goes and he gets SA'd by Diddy. People are holding his face down there as Diddy does his thing. As soon as everything is done, the same people that were there, including CJ, Biggie Smalls' son, take him back home. Weird. But moving on. He claims he was forced to ride home with the taste of Diddy's, oh snap, his paperweights, okay, the taste of Diddy's paperweights still lingering in his jaws. Who wrote this article? Oh dear God. In his jaws. So he had his, yeah, it's kind of gross, but he's like, I remember. And even afterwards, it's, do you have to let it linger? So apparently it was lingering all up in his mouth after the whole situation went down. This is what this guy's claiming, by the way. This is what this guy's claiming. The lawsuit claims that the attack peaked a few days earlier with the this peaked a few days earlier with the Biggie t-shirt. The Biggie t-shirt toss. Okay? And another sit-down meeting with Diddy allegedly told John Doe out of the blue that he was going to F the ish out of him and unexpectedly put his hands on his privates. He claims CJ, Mack, and others had promised more business opportunities as restitution for his issues with Diddy, but it all turned out to be a ruse to just get him AR'd. So John Doe is now pursuing damages from CJ and other defendants as well. I'm gonna say it. I'm just gonna say it. I'm gonna say it respectfully. I don't know if I fully believe this one. I'm sorry, I gotta say it. we gonna keep it real. Let me just be real. If there really is a photo that was taken and that photo still exists, then have mercy. May all these men who were involved in this situation get sued. And if it's within the statute of limitations, because apparently this happened in 2020. So maybe it's within the statute of limitations. If that's the case, may they all be thrown in prison. But there's something about it. It's kind of the thing. The problem I have with some of these lawsuits, it's the after. It's the after. It's the, oh yeah, and then this too. Oh, I forgot to add this too. Now, here's the thing. I haven't seen the lawsuit, and maybe the lawsuit says everything in one fell swoop, right? Maybe it says it all. But there are some times when people add more, like the whole thing with Kanye West and the Lauren Pisciota situation, right? She added more things later on. She's like, oh no, I was ST'd. And I was held against my will, and this, and this, and that. And I'm not sitting here saying that I don't believe Lauren. And I guess I got to say the same thing with this John Doe. But at the same time, the fact that it is an added after the fact feels a little sus to me. Okay, like that makes me feel. This gives me pause. Like, again, there's other allegations that are out here made by other victims, and you go, man, that's crazy, and may he burn, right? May he burn in prison. May they throw him under the prison, right? But then there's something about these where it just feels like this came out of nowhere. It's kind of like, I hate to say this, but it's the Ashley Parham situation, right? Like, it's the Ashley Parham lawsuit. And Khaled, we're going to get to the Trump stuff. Don't worry. This is breaking information here too. Welcome to the show. Moving on though. Okay. The thing is like it just makes you wonder, like the Ashley Parham one, right? That one is so out of left field and so wild that it makes you wonder. It gives you pause, right? Doesn't mean that you don't believe it. It just makes you look back and go, something seems weird about it, right? It just seems a bit weird, right? So when I look at something like that, and especially something like this, I'm like, why wasn't this reported a couple days ago when it was reported about Diddy finishing in a Biggie t-shirt and tossing it on the dude? Why wasn't that added later on? Like, why wasn't that added in the first place? Now it's being added. Oh yeah, CJ was a part of it too, and this entrepreneur by the name of Willie Mack, and Diddy did all these other things to me. Blah, you know what I mean? It just seems a little suspect. That's just me, right? If this is true, my dear God, this is terrible. But like I said before, we're going to see a lot of people that are telling the truth, but they're also going to be overshadowed by a lot of people that are just trying to grab a bag. And that's what is so sad about the situation, because it's so easy for us to sit here and, believe every single person. It's so easy for us to do that because we're good people. But then there's this other part of me that's like, well, how do we know for sure that this is 110% true? And it makes me feel bad. I feel terrible feeling like that. Real talk. I feel terrible feeling like that. And even asking that question. But when you hear things after the fact, it does bring up and spark some serious red flags. Doesn't that do that for you too? Just a little bit? Like I said, I'm not sitting here saying that this person's 110% lying or anything, but it does give me great pause. I get vexed, okay? It vexes me, And then the fact that you're hearing about Biggie again, and this time it's his son involved. That's some wild stuff, y'all. That's some wild stuff. But I don't know. You comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know what you think. Okay. But in my personal opinion, it gives me great pause. And it makes me wonder how much of this is 110% true and how much of it is not. Right. But I guess we'll see how long or how far this actual lawsuit goes, right? If it actually goes inside of a courtroom, that's going to be crazy. That's going to be crazy, y'all. Absolutely crazy. Now, here's the thing. We have got to talk about Jeffrey Epstein. Okay, guys, we really do need to talk about Jeffrey Epi. Okay, J-E, Epi, the Steenie. Okay, little purr. Okay, little perver. Okay, little pervy. All right, because he's a disturbing, disgusting, mother-loving excuse of a man. All right, I think we can all agree on that, can't we? I think we can all agree on that. All right, but here's something that was going on. All right. Now, over the past few days, over the past week, this has been a wild week, y'all. I mean, is it Friday? It's really Friday. It doesn't feel like Friday. Okay, it's been a long week. That's what I mean. It's been a long ass week. Okay, and there's been some really interesting things going on this week. And one of the main things was that we found out that one, Epi did it to himself. Okay, you get what I'm saying. And then the other part two, this is the kicker. Okay, because I feel like everybody would be cool with him, be like, oh, he did it to himself, I bet, and just walk off. But no. Part two is when it just blew the whole lid off everything, and now causing a civil war within MAGA country, okay? They said that this list that they've been talking about for years doesn't mother-loving exist. Now, let me tell you guys something. People have been losing their mother-loving minds over this situation. Absolutely losing their mother-loving minds. You got Alex Jones, which we'll probably see in here in a second, okay? He's sitting there crying and throwing up, okay? I'm going to be sick. You know what I mean? I can't believe it. Epstein's list, it just exists. He's losing his mother-loving mind, okay? Losing his doggone mind, everybody. But he's not the only one. We all are, right? For once, and it's weird, but you got people in MAGA and people on the left all coming together and going, boo, this stinks. Goo. No, they're lying. Why are they holding this from us? And then, the right is going, yeah, absolutely. They're lying. They're lying. Why are they lying? This is a travesty. Why are they lying? Right? But for once, you got both sides kind of agreeing with each other. For once. Because we all want to see the mother-loving list. Do we not? Because the list exists. Okay. The list mother-loving exists. But what's so weird about this is that they're still trying to hold out like it doesn't exist. Now, before we get into the stuff that we have, I do want to share with you guys this video that I shared with you guys yesterday, or maybe the day before, but we need to talk about this again. Now, after the bomb dropped, the huge bombshell basically saying, hey, guess what, everybody? The list doesn't exist. Surprise, surprise, right? It was really a big surprise for everybody, even myself. I'm like, you got to be kidding me, okay? People are still wanting answers. They're still demanding answers. They want to know why this went down. They're going, please explain to me, why did this go down the way it went down? Because it doesn't make any sense. You've been talking about it. You've been going on like just talking about Trump for 2 seconds, okay? 2 whole mother-loving seconds, all right? But he's sitting there in his whole campaign going, we're going to drain the swamp, right? We're going to do all this stuff. I'm going to pull out the Epstein files, all that stuff. The list is going to drop. Everyone's wigs are going to be blowing back. Maybe just his wig because he wears a wig. But you know what I mean? Okay? Or it's a fantastic super comb over. Okay? But we are all expecting him to expose the truth and show who these elites, the creme de la creme, the 1% of the 1%ers that were involved in this Epi list, and then nothing shows up. But that's what he was riding on, letting everybody know, Bill Clinton, he's a big fan. You know what I mean? Huge fan of Epi. You know what I'm saying? He said all this crazy stuff. And then when the list, it's time to show the list, ain't no list to be had. Ain't that about a shut your mouth? Right? Makes no sense, right? But then, like I said, people are wanting to know. People want answers. They're demanding answers. They're like, please explain to us why this is happening when we all are expecting a bombshell that we'd be seeing people trying to run for their lives, you know what I mean? Skip town, leave the country, etc., because these names would be dropped, right? And there's no list to be had because they say a list does not exist. So again, people started asking questions, and rightfully so. And this is what happened when they're asking Pam Bondi, hey, by the way, why is it not, why are we not seeing the list? You've been saying, baby, you've been saying about some mother-loving list, and we ain't seen nothing. Please explain this to me, Daddy. Remember, they called him Daddy? Okay, remember? They called him Daddy like a couple weeks ago, all right? So it's like, yo, Daddy, can you explain this? Why no list?
Lingering mysteries. One of the biggest ones is whether he ever worked for a American or foreign intelligence agency. The former labor secretary, who was Miami U.S. Attorney Alex Costa, he allegedly said that he did work for an intelligence agency. So could you resolve whether or not he did? And also, could you say why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape on the minutes?
Yeah, sure. If
Hey,
I
Pam,
could,
could I just interrupt for
Sure.
1 second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy?
Yeah, people are still talking about this guy. Hello? I mean, let's be real, okay? You realize this guy made a bed. We talk about Trump. He literally has been campaigning and pushing this. Okay? He's the one who made this bed. And as soon as everybody shows up and realizes that he was talking about a bed that doesn't mother-loving exist suddenly, he sits there and goes, "What? Well, I don't understand why everybody's talking about this bed. Why is everybody mad about this bed? Can't we move on? Can't we move on? We're talking about a bed. You're talking about a bed that doesn't, what? You talked about you were selling beds. You were the ultimate bed seller. And then suddenly now, out of nowhere, you're sitting there going, no. And of course, saying it in such a condescending way too, which is like, how dare you guys even talk about this? We got kids. You understand? We have kids lost in a flood, and you're talking about Epstein? How dare you? And it's like, wait a second. We want to know because you guys have been talking about this for several years. He's been talking about it since his first administration, his first term. So what are you talking about? Why are you suddenly so mad and talking down to people when we're like, what are you talking about? You're the one who talked about it. You're the one who brought it up, not us. You know what I'm saying? It's like those fights that you have with with your significant other. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I didn't even bring up this. How did this fight even happen? I didn't even bring up this fight. Okay, you brought it up. I'm just trying to finish the fight. Okay? Why are you getting mad at me? What? I didn't even bring up the conversation. How am I the best? What? You see what I'm saying? That's what the media should feel right now. Like, are you out your goddamn mind that you would literally try to try to spin it like we're the buttholes? What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this, where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration, but you.
Okay, so he's like, oh, look at all the success that we're having. By the way, I just want to point something out. let me point something out. Okay, there was no real success, okay, because a lot of people lost their lives. So let's be real about that flood, okay, in Texas. And there was other floods in other places too, and people are losing their lives. So I don't see a success in that situation, sir, respectfully. But then the other part is, let me just point this out too, okay? You had people from Mexico coming in to help Texas. Yes, I wouldn't be surprised if ICE was standing right there as those people from Mexico were helping, giving a helping hand in the search, rescue, and the help for all those people. Let's be real. I'm sure they're sitting there going, do you have papers? You have papers, right? Mexico came in and put in a helping hand. The only time that Texas has ever opened up their doggone border is for these people to come in and help them clean up the mess that was going on in Central Texas. Okay, the president, I forgot her, Scheinbaum, if I'm correct. Okay, which is very interesting because she's Mexican and her last name is German. That's a whole other conversation in itself. Okay, I'm glad, do you boo boo. Okay, Mexico, but still, she let all these people over, cross the border to help Texas. If we were doing so great, we wouldn't need Mexico to help out. So make that make sense, baby. Make that mother loving make sense. He's saying so many successes, such great successes, some of the best ever that we ever seen. Where's the success? People are still losing their lives. People still have no homes. People are still trying to figure out where they're going to get food, how they're going to make money again, how they're going to pay their bills. So where's the success? Oh, let's not forget this too. Wasn't Ted Cruz? He was out of town too. I found out that just the other day. Yeah. That mother lover was like in Greece or something like that. He was enjoying himself, chilling, okay, eating food, chilling, enjoying salted meats, somewhere completely not where the floods were happening. Just so you know, yes, he was in Greece, baby. He was in Greece, enjoying himself with some baklava, okay, or something. That's Greek, right? That's Greek, isn't it? Baklava? Yeah, I think that's Greek. But you know what I'm saying? Okay, it's kind of sweet and salty and sweet, and I don't even know what it's in it, like nuts and something else. But yeah, he's up there enjoying his baklava. And suddenly, oops. Oh, snap, there's a flood. But interesting that no one's talking about that he was in Greece. Remember when Mayor Karen Bass was in Ghana or something like that when the fires went down? Man, they tore her a whole new bow. Okay, let me be real. Because she was somewhere else when the fires went down. No one's really dragging him in the dirt for being out of town when this flood went down. It's just interesting, the double standards. I'm just pointing out something real quick. Sorry for the rant and sorry for the tangent, but I had to point that out. Okay, very interesting nonetheless. All right. And this guy, our president, is now sitting here saying, look, how could you ask us questions about the epi list when we got great successes going on somewhere else? I don't see it as success. I see it as devastation and a huge ass tragedy. 27 plus kids lost their lives. OK, let's be real. This is not success. It's a tragedy. But let's continue on, shall we? Because he's so upset that people are asking about something like this, okay? That he's asking something like this, that the media is asking questions like this. Dear God, of course they're going to ask questions. Of course they are. You've been talking about it for several years. You should expect this.
Go ahead.
Sure. First, to back up on that, in February, I did an interview on Fox, and it's been getting a lot of attention because I said I was asked a question about the client list, and my response was, it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file along with the JFK, MLK files as well. That's what I meant by that.
I really want to point this out really quick because I had some time to think about that, about what she just said here. True, she did react to them asking, but they specifically asked about the list. She could have clarified by answering the question more clearly, but she didn't. She had a choice, and she didn't do that. Let's be real. She is, vetted and trained to do this job. And if somebody's asking, oh, yeah, so I hear that you have a list, and she's like, oh, yeah, it's sitting right on my desk, same as the file for Martin Luther King Jr. and JFK. Same things. I have them all on my desk. And then they say, you saw, are there any names on the list that are shocking so far? And she says, no. She says, no. 2 opportunities where she could have literally said, let me just say, I have not seen a list yet. She could have said that. And she didn't. Now she's trying to backtrack. Like I said, it's a bad look, y'all. I don't care. It's a bad look, okay? It's a bad look.
Also, to the tens of thousands of video, they turned out to be child porn downloaded by that disgusting Jeffrey Epstein. Child porn is what they were.
Now, what's interesting is she is leaning on the CP, okay? And she's like, CP is on the, oh, golly, ladies and germs. Golly, the CP, which obviously is deplorable and disgusting, and he is a terrible, disgusting, evil man, and hopefully he's rotting in hell. But at the same time, come on now, you know, she's leaning on certain things, hoping that they would go, oh, the CP, oh, okay, moving on. We'll just talk about other things. Let's talk about the flood. You know what I'm saying? It's not stopping anybody. People are all asking, they're demanding that Pam Bondi step down. In fact, they're even looking at Dan Bongino, because apparently he's talking about maybe resigning as well because of this whole Epi situation as well. It is embarrassing. This is bad, y'all. This is bad. Listen, like I said, because I know some of y'all gonna be all wound up. Some of your Trump panties are, you know, getting wound up tight in a bunch. I'm telling you right now, I'm sorry. Okay? I'm just calling it like I see it. All right? Let's be real. This is bad. This is a very bad look. So bad that you got people even on his side that were like, yeah, Trump all day, hoorah, America, right? Proud to be an American. They're all going, wait a second. You lying to us. That's not cool. That is not cool. People are pissed, y'all. Angry as hell. And they're Trump supporters, just like some of y'all in the chat. So don't get mad at me for talking about something that everybody's pissed about. Everybody's mad. Like I said, it's across the board. Everyone's like, nah, bruh, nah. You know what I mean? People with wearing their hardcore LGBTQ plus AI freaking t-shirts and dudes with their MAGA hats and t-shirts are all standing in unison, sharing beers right now, saying how jacked up this situation is. Okay. Yeah. Everybody's talking about this. Okay. Everyone is melding together and becoming purple. I'm being dead ass. This is not a good look for the Trump administration. Sorry. Let's continue.
Never going to be released, never going to see the light of day. To him being an agent, I have no knowledge about that. We can get back to you on that. And the minute missing from the video, we released the video showing definitively, the video was not conclusive, but the evidence prior to it was showing he committed suicide. And what was on that, there was a minute that was off the counter. And what we learned from Bureau of Prisons was every night, they redo that video. It's old, from like 1999. So every night the video is reset, and every night should have the same minute missing. So we're looking for that video to release that as well, showing that a minute is missing every night.
Let me just say this. Can I ask you guys something? Real talk. Okay, as we continue on, let me ask you, do you believe what she's saying here? Do you believe it? Do you? Put it in the family chat. Do you believe it? Because something about it, to me, something ain't smelling right. Okay? Something most definitely ain't smelling right. You want to know why it doesn't smell right for me? Let me continue explaining, okay? Here's the next part that's just very interesting, okay? Very interesting. So a former lawyer for Epi has now been speaking out. He went on Sean Spicer's show, which, by the way, didn't even know. Remember that guy? Remember Sean Spicer? Didn't even realize that he was still out here talking. Didn't even know he had a show. All right. But apparently he went on to a show and basically said this Alan Dershowitz, okay, former lawyer for Epi, who also was allegedly thrown in and being accused as one of the people that was, you know, doing terrible things on this island. Of course, he was later, exonerated and his charges were dropped because he wasn't a part of it. He has even gone out and said, I have seen it. I have seen this list. He said, my hand to God, I have seen this list. Quit lying. People are out here not telling the truth. They're hiding something from you. Don't know why they're hiding these things from you. Real talk. Alan Dershowitz, who used to be Jeffrey Epstein's lawyer, says out of his own freaking face, says, I've seen the list. I seen it. Come on now. Why would a lawyer that used to work for him, that used to work closely with him, lie? Hold on. Let's get into this article. And then we got the clip. We're going to take a look at that as well. Okay? So Dershowitz says he knows Epi's list names, but I'm bound by confidentiality. So it says here, of course, we already know, Sean Spicer didn't even know he had a show. I'm going to be real. Okay? All right. But he had on Thursday an interview with Alan Dershowitz. Okay? He was the former lawyer for Jeffrey Epstein. All right? He says, I know the names of the individuals. I know why they're being suppressed. I know who's suppressing them. This is what Dershowitz said during an appearance on the Sean Spicer show, okay, which was originally broadcasted on March 19th and then was reposted on social media, X and whatnot, on Thursday. So this is a full-on exclusive interview that happened several months ago, that now is resurfacing all over again because, again, they came out with this bullish saying that this list doesn't exist. He says, I've seen it. I know the names, but I can't say anything because I am bound by confidentiality from a judge in cases and can't disclose what I know. So the Trump administration vowed earlier this year and throughout his entire mother-loving presidential campaign, that he was going to expose and drop this stuff like it was hot. And it never happened. Okay. He said he was going to drain the swamp, right? Drill the baby drill. I can't believe it. We're going to drill the baby drill it all day long. Drill. And he didn't do it. But that's what he was putting out here during his presidential campaign. All right. And of course, we already know about Elon Musk out here being like, man, he felt some type of way about the big, beautiful bill, which we already know about. Okay. But he even posted things going, okay, so this is really great. And I can't believe this, but I'm just going to let you know, about to drop a big bombshell, that Trump was involved. His name is in the Epstein list. Okay. Have a great day. Oh, just love it. Really great. Right? He posted that on X. Completely put that out on X right before he fell into a K-hole. But at the same time, he put that thing out there saying that Trumpy was on that mother-loving list. And of course, everybody, even including myself, even talked about it, saying, oh, damn, shots fired. Trump and Musk, ooh, this is the breakup of the century. This is bigger than Ross and Rachel. They are not on a break. It is over. Okay? They are never, ever, ever getting back together, right? Right, Swifties? That's the song, right? Okay? Like, they done. Right? And so weeks later, these lists don't exist. What is going on here? What in the F is going on here? So he said, are you still talking about, this is what Musk apparently said, I think. The president brushed off the comments. I'm sorry. Yeah, so we already saw that clip, okay, where he's like, are you guys still talking about Epstein? I mean, he's so surprised that everyone's talking about Epi when you said you were going to drain the swamp. You were going to drain the swamp and you were going to pull out everybody by their freaking hair extensions and plugins in the, you know what I'm saying? Just pulling them out, just by the dragging them, right? And exposing them all out in the sun, right? Like the vampires, like, you know what I'm saying? And that didn't happen. So now people are mad. Now people are pissed off and want a better understanding of what the hell is actually going on here. Now, so again, like I said, this is Dershowitz right here saying it out of his own face that he said, I seen it. I've seen the lists. Okay. I've been accused of these things. That's not Dershowitz. This is Dershowitz. And I'm telling you right now, he better have security on him. Somebody protect him at all costs, because this mother lover, if this guy suddenly disappears out of nowhere, I'm telling you what, we all should start asking questions. You heard me? We all should be asking mother loving questions. You feel me? All right. Hold on real quick. Local Trees, thank you so much for the love. Can't wait. And I think you're talking about the podcast, so I appreciate you doing that. Thank you so much. Again, guys, go over to the podcast page, Pascal Raw. Make sure you're subscribed over there. The goal is to get to 1,000 subscribers. So help me. You know what I mean? Love to get halfway there. If all you guys go over there and subscribe right now, we'll be more than halfway there, right? So that'll be dope as hell. Please and thank you. So again, thank you, Local Trees. And then, of course, let me just say this really quick, too. Don't forget to hit that like button down below. Of course, don't forget to subscribe. I know maybe I'm talking about something that nobody's really interested in me talking about. I guess Epi is not that big of a conversation for a lot of people, but at the same time, we have to talk about this. I can't not talk about this. You see what I'm saying? It would be asinine for me to not talk about this. But again, guys, go over. In fact, I'm going to replace this. Thank you, Tipsy. I know that Debbie put the link up there a bunch of times too. A bunch of the mods did too, but I'm just seeing the most recent one, just so you know. So I'm going to replace the link, okay? And just click on that, go over, subscribe, and then just come right back. Come right back quickly, because there's a lot to dissect here, and there's a lot to talk about, okay? Because yes, we are going to get into the conversation about Gizzy, okay? G Dog, okay? G Unit, all right? We are going to be talking about her in just a minute. But this is Alan Dershowitz saying this with his own mouth.
Not an opinion. This is a fact. I have seen. Remember, I was accused falsely, and the Epstein. And ultimately, I was completely cleared. The woman admitted that she may have mistook me for somebody else and withdrew all of her lawsuits. And so from day one, from the day I was accused, I said I want every document out, because I knew every document would prove I was innocent. So let me tell you, I know for a fact documents are being suppressed. And they're being suppressed to protect individuals. I know the names of the individuals. I know why they're being suppressed. I know who's suppressing them. But I'm bound by confidentiality from a judge and cases, and I can't disclose what I know. But
I want to know why, like, what is in this confidentiality agreement that he can't say? Any name. You see what I'm saying? I really am wondering what it is. And then, of course, at the end of the day, because I know there's going to be people out here that don't believe him, think that he's lying, so on and so forth. In my mind, I'm like, can you show us at least the confidentiality agreement, or the paperwork, or the judge ruling that told you can't speak? Like, I would just love to see that paperwork out here for everyone, so that everyone who is a naysayer, anybody who's side-eyeing him, can shut the F up. You see what I'm saying? Am I the only one who thinks that? Maybe I am the only one who thinks that, but I'm just saying. Somebody got to say, you feel me? You know what I mean? Like, maybe he just needs to put out that paperwork and go, shut up, right? Throw out that ace. You know what I mean? Full house, mother lover. Shut up. You know what I mean? Here's the proof, right?
I hand to God, I know the names of people whose files are being suppressed in order to protect them. And that's wrong.
Just out of curiosity, without names, are these politicians, business leaders, both?
They're everything. And let me tell you, a lot of them are, at least one of them is somebody who was accused. Others are accusers. And the judges have said, if somebody calls themselves a victim, we're not going to give any information about them. But they may not be victims. They may be perpetrators. So we don't have information.
So that is the loophole. Isn't that interesting? That's interesting. That the loophole, if they say, oh, I was a victim, I didn't know. Epi made me do these things. I can't believe it that they suddenly are put on another list. See what I'm saying? That's interesting. Apparently, this guy was accused of being a part of these things too, but he was exonerated of those things. And now he's out here, or at least in March, he was out here talking about these things. You see what I'm saying? So, like I said, interesting.
About false accusers. And we know there have been many false accusers who have accused innocent people for money, and those records are being deliberately, willfully suppressed. and they shouldn't be suppressed. If the accusation is allowed out, so should the material that diminishes the credibility of the accuser. We want total transparency on this. Every single document, no redaction. That's what I've said from day one. I waive any of my rights of privacy. Anything there is about me, I'm happy because it will be exculpatory, because I know I haven't touched a woman other than my wife from the day I met Jeffrey Epstein. I don't even hug people, but I was falsely accused and I was able to prove it. And I was able to prove it through documents. And I want other people to be able to disprove false accusations through documents. But these documents are being suppressed and withheld.
Yo, I'm sorry, I gotta hit the button. So you mean to tell me that this guy knows everything? He's got people in his mind that he knows are on this list. He says, abso-freaking-lutely, these people are on a list. Don't ask me otherwise. They are on this list, but I can't say anything because of a confidentiality situation with the judge, with court documents and stuff. I can't say anything right now. But, and he even says, I don't care. If you're going to try to throw me under the bus, go ahead. He says, try me. I'll be exonerated because I am innocent. I've never done anything, right? So he's out here willing to drain the mother-loving swamp, the same swamp that Trump is saying that he wants to drain. But then when there's an opportunity to actually pull the actual plug from the actual drain to start draining the swamp, Trump now says that there is no drain. The drain doesn't exist anymore. Now it's bupkis. It's obsolete. It's a fugazi. It doesn't exist anymore. Make that make sense. Make that make sense, guys. Okay? Sorry, but that seems a little bit weird to me. Now, here's the thing. There's some things we got to talk about here. There are some very interesting things going on, and I know that some people are like, hey, well, you know, I see the title. Is this clickbait? No, it's not clickbait, baby. It's definitely not. Because apparently Trump held meetings, okay, to talk about possibly pardoning Ghislaine Maxwell. And allegedly he had these conversations in his first term in office. Now, there's some weird things that are going on. There's some weird breadcrumbs that have been out here because, you know, let's be real. Trump has been out here basically saying like, oh, you know, he's been throwing everybody else under the bus. He's been throwing out the Clintons' names. He's pulling out names and saying, oh, you know, Epstein and Bill Clinton and Hillary, all of them, the Clintons and the Epsteins, they were doing their thing, right? He was saying all kinds of stuff like that. But here's the thing. Trump and Epstein have been friends for over 15 mother-loving years. 15 mother-loving years, y'all. As they say, joined at the mother-loving hip. There is so much information in this article that is just absolutely insane. And also, I want to remind you, during his first term, Trump was asked. I'm actually going to pull that up now. Okay. Trump was asked about Ghislaine. All right. Trump was asked about Ghislaine. And this is a very short clip, so I'm just going to play it for you right now. He had some very interesting choice of words to say about Miss Jizzle.
Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison, and a lot of people want to know if she's going to turn in powerful people. And I know you've talked in the past about Prince Andrew, and you've criticized Bill Clinton's behavior. I'm wondering, do you feel that she's going to turn in powerful men? How do you see that working out?
I don't know. I haven't really been following it too much. I just wish her well, frankly. I've met her numerous times over the years, especially since I lived in Palm Beach, and I guess they lived in Palm Beach. But I wish her well, whatever it is. I don't know the situation with Prince Andrew. Just don't know. Not a.
Huh? Wait. What did he say? What did he say?
Powerful men. How do you see that working out?
I don't know. I haven't really been following it too much. I just wish her well, frankly. I've met her numerous times over the years, especially since I lived in Palm Beach, and I guess they lived in Palm Beach. But I wish her well.
Here it is, though. Who goes out of their way to wish a person like Jizzy, okay? Who goes out of their way to wish someone like her well? Don't worry. Think about it for a second. Just hold on. Think about it for a second. Let it marinate in your skin. You know, marinate all the way down to your plums for like 2 seconds real quick. Okay? Marinate. You got that question in your head, right? So the second question I have for you is, why would anyone say something like that to a convicted monster that's locked up, that was also helping hand in hand move these littles across into these islands to do deplorable and disgusting things with the likes of, you know, the people who are being alleged of doing these deplorable, disgusting things? Make it make sense, though, guys. Why would he go out of his way to say something like that? He's gone out of his way to say other people are disgusting. He's been willing to throw so many people under the bus, okay? But with Jizzy, he's sitting there wishing her well. Make that make sense. That doesn't make sense, guys. It really doesn't. Instantly, he's sitting there going, oh, you know, Bill Clinton, Prince Andrew, all these other names, right? Deplorable, disgusting, blah. But Jizzy, I wish her well. That makes no sense. That makes no earthly sense. So let's take a look at this. Like I showed you guys a second ago, Trump held talks on pardoning Jizzy, yo. Okay? So let's take a look at this. This is an exclusive. Daily Beast had an exclusive interview. This is insane. Okay, so we're going to be looking at the interview here shortly as well. Like I said, you can't help, but I can't help. And I don't think you guys can't help, but ask the burning questions here. Okay? And like I said, it doesn't matter what side of the fence you are on. When things go weird, if this was Biden administration, if this was Obama administration, if this was Clinton administration, if this was Bush Jr. or Bush Sr.'s administration, any of the people that have ever been president, I think all of us, doesn't matter what side of the fence you're on, it definitely pricks up your ears, right? It definitely goes, wait, this is weird. Why is this happening? Doesn't matter. Ask the questions, guys. Okay? Think critically and independently for yourself. Okay? Real talk. So, President Trump weighed pardoning Jizzy, okay, for fear that she would spill secrets about his decade-long friendship with convicted, disgusting monster Jeffrey Epstein. After Maxwell, now 63, was arrested by FBI in July 2020 for allegedly helping Epstein run his ring, okay? You know, like I said, like kind of like a diddler situation, okay? Luring and grooming young girls into a web of attacks. Trump grew very wary and began asking, what could she say? What would she say? Author Michael Wolff said on a Daily Beast podcast, which we're going to be listening to a clip of that here shortly. Trump and Epstein have been friends since the 1980s. Wolff described them as two guys joined at the hip for a good 15 mother-loving years. Remember, he said, oh, I only knew him about 10 years. It's 15, guys. Allegedly, it's 15. They did everything together. This is what the Trump biographer told host Joanna Coles. And this is from sharing, pursuing women, hunting women, sharing at least one girlfriend for at least a year, and this kind of rich guy relationship with each other's planes. What in the what? He added, I dare say they kind of loved each other. These were brothers in arms for a long time. Their friendship reportedly unraveled in 2004, however. during a bidding war for a Palm Beach waterfront mansion. So they became not so good friends anymore because they were both competing to buy out a mansion in Palm Beach. Talk about rich problems, right? I don't like him anymore because he wanted to take my new toy house, right? Crazy, right? When it became clear that Maxwell, Jizzy, who became romantically linked to Epstein in the early 1990s, would be brought to trial on STing charges, Trump mulled using his executive powers to pardon her, according to Wolf. Look at that there. Oh, this is not good. I mean, let's be real, okay? This is not looking good for Bill Clinton either. Let's not forget that too. Okay, he out here, walking his daughter down the aisle at her wedding, and you see Jizzy in the background of the photo. It's bad. Okay, it's bad for so many of them. Okay, Republican or Democrat, they all screwed. Okay, if she speaks out, if she was ever to be like, I'm gonna write a book from prison, woo! Everybody gonna have their buttholes just super tight. Okay, they're gonna be pooping themselves. Watch. So Trump's inner circle pushed back on the idea, however, warning him that it would blow up in his face. Everybody around him was kind of like, God, God, we hope she won't say anything, but we really hope he doesn't pardon her. So, of course, he pushed, apparently, Wolf has published 4 tell-all books on Trump alone. So Trump then, in his first term, didn't go through with the pardon, which is probably the smartest thing he's ever done. Okay, as far as he was thinking about pardoning him, do you understand how the world would have reacted if he actually pardoned her? I'm sorry. He would look so bad. No one would be cool with that. I already know that there'd be some people out here that would try to find every excuse under the sun to make it be justifiable for him to pardon her, because the people think that he can do no wrong. There is a corner of the world that thinks he can do no wrong. Okay, even when he could be doing wrong right in front of their face, they're still sitting there going, well, you know what I mean? It's insane out here. All right, but at the same time, do you realize how many people would turn away from him if he was to pardon this monster? Okay. But when asked about Maxwell's looming trial, he struck an oddly sympathetic tone, which we just heard. I wish her well, frankly. Okay, met her numerous times over the years, especially since I lived in Palm Beach, and I guess they lived in Palm Beach. Yet they had a whole fallout. Apparently, he and Jeffrey had a fallout over a property in Palm Beach. But okay, I wish her well, whatever it is. So reach for comment. Trump's communications director, Stephen Chung, said Michael Wolff is a lying sack of ish. And it hasn't been proven and has been proven to be a fraud. He routinely fabricates stories originating from his sick and warped imagination, only possible because he has a severe and debilitating case of Trump derangement syndrome that has rotted his peanut-sized brain. Damn. Shots fired. You can clearly see they do really love this guy. They have a big, deep love for this Michael Wolff guy. They're hoping for the best. They're wishing him well as well. Okay? That was just clearly they ain't having it. Okay? A senior White House official told the Daily Beast that there have been no conversations regarding the pardon for Maxwell, and none will take place. Okay, now she was handed, just so you know, she was handed a 20-year prison sentence in 2022, and she ain't going anywhere. I hope not. Okay, but the fact that this is a piece of information that's out here that everybody and their mama is talking about, this is absolutely insane. Okay, the fact that they are even remotely entertaining, or he was at least remotely entertaining the possibility of pardoning the Bonnie to Epstein's Clyde. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is disturbing. And this is the other reason why, that if it was the situation that Diddy was going to be in prison for life, or for a very, very long time, This is the other reason why I said there's no way on God's green earth they were going to let Diddy get a pardon. You got to understand there's so many people that would look at this and go, no. Okay? Like, it would be very, very bad. All right? If Diddy was ever pardoned by Trump. It would be the dumbest thing, and it would ruin Trump's legacy. Do you understand that? Just like the fact that he was talking about pardoning Jizzy, that's insane. That would just absolutely annihilate his legacy, right? So his presidential legacy, okay? But again, that would be insane. Let's take a listen to a little bit of this.
Information on Jeffrey Epstein is because it's somehow trying to protect.
Move the speed up a little bit.
Well, I think throughout the Trump years, both the first administration and now this second administration, and in between, it has always been an incredibly sensitive topic. So again, that weird juxtaposition of the MAGA guys going Jeffrey Epstein, and Trump, basically kind of cowering. And there was a moment which I reported on at the end of the last administration when he became very wary about the arrest of Ghislaine Maxwell and asked whether or not, what could she say, what would she say, and should he pardon her?
Well, he certainly said, "Oh, she's a very nice woman. I wish her well." As she was, shortly after she was arrested for, and accused of grooming young women.
Yes, but behind the scenes, and this is, as I say, I reported this was a discussion. Everybody around him was kind of like, oh God, do we want to, we hope she won't say anything, but we really hope he doesn't pardon her.
So, do you think the conspiracy theorists stop now?
No, this is, as I said in the post I did this morning, that this is Kennedy assassination level stuff. It just feeds on itself. And it feeds on itself for a lot of reasons, not to mention Donald Trump at the center of this, but also because overwhelmingly the people who have spoken about this, who with great authority, who have reported on this, who have made themselves experts on this, don't know anything. They certainly never met Jeffrey Epstein. They were not part of his circle, of his life. And conversely, all of the people who do know something, who were in this inner circle, have scrupulously said nothing. First, because not least of all because they might then be implicated in knowing Jeffrey Epstein.
So who are you talking about?
From Bill Clinton to Larry Summers to a long list, and there have been a long list of people who have known Jeffrey Epstein. And in fact, you can go so far as to say anybody knew Jeffrey Epstein at certainly at a moment in time, and of course now no one wants to have known Jeffrey Epstein. There's a one point that, and after he was arrested, I think that the New York Times said, how did they put it? It was kind of like shocking. They said anyone who has shaken hands with Jeffrey Epstein in the last 20 years is worthy of suspicion.
So
now, what's insane is that, okay, first off, yes, I think that Tyler, I agree. I think that there's a very, very long list. And, I didn't want to interrupt, but there's a few things I wanted to point out here. By them sitting there making it so that the list doesn't exist anymore, it's causing a lot of controversy. It's causing a lot of conspiracy theory as well. Instead of just being honest and being upfront and just showing the actual list and just being done with it, they hide the list. Now, here's the thing. I want to point a few things out here really quick. There's a possibility that Trump is completely 110% innocent. I'm gonna be real, okay? Let me be real, all right? There literally could very well be a situation where he has nothing to do with it. That he ran with Epstein back in the day. They were chummy, and it is what it is, right? And that's it. They were just chummy. Like I said, he could completely. We got to play both sides of the fence, y'all. Okay. Yes, it's very weird that these allegations or like this sudden list not existing anymore is very weird, and it doesn't make any sense to me. Okay. And I can see why a lot of people are looking at this situation and asking a lot of questions, and rightfully so. Right. But you also got to remember, like he just said, any person that shook his hand, not everybody who shook his hand suddenly was up there doing no good. We still have to leave that there too. And there's still a possibility of the likes of someone like Trump, just knowing him, being friendly with him, but not having anything to do with any type of deplorable crimes. We can put that on the table. We should. You know what I mean? Like, we should put that out there, because that's still a possibility, because we've never seen the list. We've seen photos of him next to J.E., but he could very well be innocent just as much as anybody else. Just like I said before, in the past, any person that's taken a photo with Diddy, for example, suddenly I'm sure they're concerned and we're nervous as hell because of the lawsuits and all the things that were going on, and the feds and that trial that he was just in, right? There's a lot of people that were very concerned about it, because they're like, damn, like, I'm all chummy with the dude. I'm in these videos. I'm not talking about like the videos, not the freak offs, but I'm saying, like, I'm in these music videos with him. Yeah, I'm seen with him at these clubs. So they automatically just assume that I'm out here doing these bad things with Diddy. When in actuality, I just went and hung out with him, did the partying and went home. But everybody eyes that, right? Everyone's side-eyeing that, right? So it's the same thing with Trump or any other person that's ever been seen in a photo with Jizzy or with Jeffrey, right? I just feel like that's kind of what the situation is. And it's a crappy situation. But at the same time, that does not merit or justify them putting out here for several years that there's a list, and then for them to say out of nowhere that the list doesn't exist. That is going to cause a major rift in the entire country. In fact, in the entire world. Everyone's going to feel some type of way about this. Everyone. You see what I'm saying? So again, unfortunately, this is the bed that they made. And now when we're asking about things, they're refusing to lay in the bed that they just mother loving made. And that just doesn't make any sense. And yeah, I agree, Jaded. That's just wrong. So again, we could see these people here, you know what I mean? Like this guy coming out here and talking. Sure, there's always room to ask, hey, is this guy really telling the truth? Or is he just full of ish, right? Is he just making things up or no? You got to leave that on the table too, because you just never know. But unfortunately, the idea, the rumors, the theories of a list was already created, already existed for several years before this guy ever showed up in an interview, or before Trump decided to say that, to let the administration let the public know that this list never existed. You see what I'm saying? It's a breadcrumb path, a long breadcrumb path that led us to a dead end, when they were saying that there was going to be a huge pot of gold. And they keep talking about it and talking about it and talking about it. And there's been talks of, oh, I seen the pot of gold. It's amazing. And then they go over to the pot of gold, and the pot of gold ain't there no more. It's going to get people mad. It's definitely going to get people mad, right? Yeah, a lot of people do care about this situation for sure. Okay. Let's see. S-Dub says, I'm not convinced any politician is innocent. They have all done shady-ish I think you're saying in my opinion. Yep, you're saying in my opinion. Yeah, I agree. I don't think everybody's innocent. I do think that there are some good old boys out there, okay? Meaning that they're Boy Scouts, for crying out loud. They're good people trying to do good things. I do think that there are good politicians out there, but I also think that there are some dirty mother lovers out there too, okay? Some of these guys are just as bad, if not worse, than some of the people that you see at your local watering hole, okay? That you always see at the local watering hole. Only difference is they don't have the train wreck tattoos all over their body and, rotted teeth. They're smiling with their implants and, their perfect looking skin, but they're also doing bad things right behind closed doors, okay? They're doing wild stuff too. maybe wilder than the things that you see or hear about that person that you see at the local watering hole all the damn time. I'm being real. Some of these mother lovers are grimy, but they know how to hustle and they know how to talk. That's it. Okay? Let's be real. All right? They party, but they party with the 1% of the 1%ers or just with the 1%. Let's keep it real. Okay? You know, we ain't dumb. This is just sad. I'm going to play a little bit more of this real quick, okay?
You spent time with Jeffrey Epstein. Why did you start spending time with him?
In 2014, he asked me, and I had some contact with him before this, but in 2014, he asked if I would be interested in writing a book about him. And I said, probably not. But Jeffrey is charming. Jeffrey is accessible. Jeffrey is kind of like, what's not to like?
Well, what's not to like was the fact that at that stage he'd already been in jail for soliciting underage prostitution.
No, of course. But I'm there as a journalist, and that was part of the story. And I considered it. So I said, and part of his then offer was you can come into my house at any time. You can be part of this kind of ongoing discussion or salon or whatever you might want to call it, that he had virtually every day, and filled with people you might want to meet, from Bill Gates to Peter Thiel to, as I say, Larry Summers to Ehud Barak to Steve Bannon to
Joe Ito from MIT, Jess Staley, who was the CEO of Barclays, Prince Andrew, Leon Black, the founder of Apollo.
Noam Chomsky.
Yeah, that one was very confusing to me, Noam Chomsky.
The Dalai Lama. I mean,
you met the Dalai Lama?
Yes, the list goes on. I mean, the list is extraordinary.
Did you actually meet the Dalai Lama at Jeffrey Epstein's?
Yeah, indeed.
Yikes. Oh, my God. Now, I don't know if you guys remember when the Dalai Lama was, you seen the video, right? Where Dalai Lama was like putting his hands on it. You know what I'm saying? He doing this thing with the kid and all that. You ain't seen the video? It's out there. Just look it up. If I'm correct, it's Dalai Lama. Yeah. He's like inappropriately touching a kid. I'll just say that. Okay. Like inappropriate. Yeah. It's not good. Yeah. Yeah. So again, the dude's dropping names. I'm going to play a little bit more. What the hell?
Whoa. I don't think I knew that.
And it's a,
I mean, I don't know why I'm laughing. It's just so surprising. What was
everything is surprising. I mean, that's so. One of the answers to why I would go or why anyone would go, it was always extraordinary. There was one time I came in and you go through these immense castle doors, and they opened kind of like in a horror film.
And this is his house on the Upper East Side, which is rumored to be the largest private house in Manhattan.
Yes, and it's sort of open, like in those films, like Igor opening the door to the castle, and you came in, and then was a large kind of formal reception area, and then the house went up several stairs into the main part of the house. And so I came in, and he was standing at the top of the stairs.
Wait a minute, who was the Dalai Lama or
no,
Jeffrey Epstein?
Jeffrey was standing there with another guy who looked very familiar. I mean, naggingly familiar. Had I gone to high school with him? Who?
Right. Did you know? Was he an actor?
He wasn't probably an actor because he was pretty ugly.
Character actor.
Damn.
Yes. But then Jeffrey said, "Oh, Bill, Michael," and then even then it was a kind of a second. But then I got, okay, yes, Bill Gates. So it was always that.
Like I said, what? Okay, he dropping names. Yeah, he said he was pretty ugly. He didn't even care. And then he said Bill Gates. Oh my God. Oh God. Yeah, he did. He said Bill Gates, man. Like I said, this is insane. But he's okay. He's saying things. He's saying things. Okay.
That kind of experience. So you went back. You went once, you went twice, you kept going
so he
back.
enticed you with the bait of interesting people. And was he filming these people having sex and then blackmailing them? I mean, that's what we're led to believe.
You know, I certainly never saw any evidence of that. And I would say, on the other hand, the contrary point of that is that everybody showed up there, and, certainly willingly, and because they adored this guy.
Okay. Of course, I'm not going to play the whole doggone thing. I recommend you guys go and check out the whole thing. It's on the Daily Beast, the full interview. And it's, they've been talking about this quite a bit on the Daily Beast, but still, nonetheless, I think that's just shocking, interesting, shocking, wild information. Okay. And again, this is also a guy who's writing a book, or who wrote 4 different books about Trump. Right. So obviously he definitely, either knows his stuff or feels some type of way about Trump. So you got to take that with a grain of salt. Okay. And because if you really think about it, it's the same thing that we've heard about with Diddy, right? There's been a whole bunch of whistleblowers that have come out, right? Where we've heard all kinds of different allegations about Diddy. Oh, I got the tapes. I got a hard drive, or I got a thumb drive filled with the tapes and videos and stuff like that, where they're littles in the videos. You know what I mean? I ain't seen it, but I know it's in there. You see what I'm saying? Oh, and I got the original manuscript for Kim Porter. We've seen all and heard all that BS. And what happened to those people? What happened to those stories? Right? They came out like it was a fugazi, right? Total fake news, right? So again, like I said, you got to take a lot of these things with a grain of salt. Still, no matter what, hearing these things, damning and pretty wild. But you can't not ignore the fact that the Trump administration was saying one thing, and now they're saying something completely different. And there should not be a moment where we should be surprised. And in fact, because I see people mad in the chat, I see people mad about me talking about this in the chat. And it's like, I don't understand why you mad about me talking about this in general when everyone's asking the same doggone question. What happened to the list? Why would you say the list existed and then suddenly say it doesn't exist anymore? You can't deny the fact that people, and you can't get mad at the fact that people are going to start asking questions about certain things because you're not stepping up and releasing information that you said for months, for years, that you had in your possession. So again, for every person, whether you are on the side of Trump, think he's doing a fantastic job out there or not, people are going to be shocked about the fact that they've been saying the list exists. You're hearing it from other people saying that they've seen it with their own 2 eyes. And then now the administration is saying it doesn't exist. That doesn't make sense. It's wrong. And I would say the same thing if this was on any other president, any other one. I'm not sitting here saying this because whether I like Trump or not. Hell no. I'm talking about the facts, baby. And the facts say that we've been hearing nothing but about lists for the longest time. And when 0 hour comes, there is no list. Let me just say this. They could have totally screwed this up in the very beginning. Hear me out. They could have completely screwed this up in the very beginning by saying a list even existed. What if they just lied in the very beginning? Hear me out. What if they lied about a list and the list never really existed, but it sounded tantalizing. It sounded interesting enough. So it was, and he or they, whoever started talking about a list existing, said it to appease the public. Then he scooped up that ground ball and he said, the people want to know. I'm going to give it to them. Whether or not he knew it existed or not, he's still going to go, yeah, I'm going to drain the swamp, everybody. hero Trump, right? That's why everyone's, oh, I like him. He's a true American. He's a true American. God bless him. He's going to drain the swamp, dagnabbit. That's what he's going to do. That's what he say. He's going to drain the swamp. Watch him drain the swamp, right? Now, what if the whole thing was a lie in the first place? There was plenty of opportunities to go up and say that the list does not exist. Do you understand that? There have been plenty of opportunities. Yet they kept going with we're going to drain the swamp. I tell you what, lifting up their pants, you know what I mean? I tell you what, well, we're going to drain that swamp. Wait for it. Trump going to come in here. He going to drain that swamp. All the snakes and alligators and those pythons and the what-to-do-woos in the swamps, they all going to go down, right? And then what happens? Doesn't exist. Plenty of opportunities to say that this list does not exist, and they did not do it. This is where they screwed up. And this is erring on the side of if the list did not originally exist. But they've been talking about this for years. Even so, I'll even go over to the Biden administration. I'll even go there too. Plenty of opportunities to come out and say that this list does not exist. And what happened? Nobody talked about it. Nobody said nothing. Not a damn thing. Because apparently, it wasn't a conversation to have. Trump comes in, he gets elected, etc. He says, I'm going to expose it all. And then you suddenly find out it don't exist. You don't think people are going to be mad? On both sides? Trust me, I'm telling you right now, you can even still be a Trump supporter. It's okay. I'm not telling you to not like the guy. Support whoever you want to support, whoever you want to support. I don't give a about that. I'm just asking you guys to think about it. It's okay to push back on your president. It's okay to ask him questions. It's okay to challenge him. It doesn't matter if he's the best thing since sliced bread or if he's some senile old man that has been hiding in plain sight and he still happened to be running the country at the same damn time. And I still don't understand how he did that, but you still had a president like that, right? It's okay to push back. This relationship is supposed to be a love-hate relationship. Let's be real. You know what I mean? It's going to be a roller coaster ride. Not everything that Trump does is going to be perfect. And then there's going to be moments that are going to be fire. Where you're like, okay, you did that. Okay. And then there's other moments where you're like, what are you talking about? No list. The hell you talking about? No list. It's okay to ask that question. You can't, it doesn't have to be all in all the time, baby. Okay? Sometimes you do need to ask what your country can do for you. Okay? I got bars right now. Sometimes it's okay to ask what the country can do for you. Okay? Sometimes I feel like we do so much for what we do for our country. What are they doing for us? We just ask for one thing. A list, and they didn't even give us that damn list. That, I think, is okay to ask the damn question, yo. Come on now. Think about that for a second. Like I said, it doesn't matter what side you are on, blue or red. Don't matter. Ask the mother level questions. But I love you guys. Ask the mother loving questions. I'm telling you, yes, you can ask. Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you could do for your country. Still do that too, okay? But every once in a while, when things like this, when muckery goes down, you got to ask the questions, okay? You do. You just do. Now, one thing I do want to point out, though, which is also interesting, some other information. Whoops, that was the wrong button. But here it is, okay? FBI Cash Patel, who also was out here going, yeah, can't wait for this list to come out. List is gonna blow your minds. Remember this? I have to pull up that. I'm gonna have to find that video because he also was out here saying, list gonna be crazy. List gonna be crazy, right? He is now considering resignation. Okay, if Pam Bondi remains in her position, and also Dan Bongino, okay, is removed What? Hold on. Hold up. Say what? Say that again. Say what, Houseway? Hold on. Removed. Hold on. Let me see. Let's see. This is from 6 hours ago. Let's take a look at this.
All right, this breaking news. Sources tell CNN that Deputy FBI Director Dan Bongino has told people that he's considering resigning amid a major clash between the FBI and DOJ over the continued fallout from the release or lack thereof of the Jeffrey Epstein memo. Joining us right now on the phone is CNN anchor and chief White House correspondent Caitlin Collins. Caitlin, what more are you learning?
Yeah, Fred, it remains to be seen if he actually follows through with what he has told colleagues. But what we do know is that Dan Bongino has told people he is considering resigning as the deputy director of the FBI over the fallout that has continued ever since this memo was released last Sunday. The anger inside the MAGA base has only continued to grow instead of going away, as some officials inside hoped it would. And now our colleagues, along with Christian Holmes, Tanner Rabinowitz, and Evan Perez, we're hearing that he's considering resigning after they had this heated confrontation with the Attorney General Pam Bondi over the handling of this earlier this week. And basically there was a meeting at the White House where the FBI Director, Patel, was there, the White House Chief of Staff, Susie Wiles. They were questioned about whether they were part of a story, that there was basically some infighting over how this came out, and this memo that said we're not going to be releasing any more information related to Jeffrey Epstein. And I should note that we are told Bongino denied leaking any story to this outlet that it was reported on. But there has been a lot of fighting between Attorney General Pam Bondi specifically and the leadership over at the FBI over who's to blame in this situation. I think the context here is obviously Dan Bongino, Patel. They came from this MAGA world where they themselves had pushed a lot of questions about the so-called client list that Epstein had beforehand. And now the MAGA base is just not pleased or satisfied with what they've said in this memo that came out unsigned from the Justice Department and the FBI on Sunday night. So what we are told is Dan Bongino did not show up to work today, that he is essentially not there out of protest. But whether or not he actually follows through on this still remains to be seen. We're still reporting that out. But it just speaks to...
Hold on. Oh, my God. Do you see how bad this is right now? This is bad. And remember, they're saying it's both sides of the fence that are... It's even people within MAGA that are upset. It's an internal situation going on. Okay? And honestly, there's been a lot of interesting tug of war, civil war going on within the MAGA camp. I've noticed. Okay, ever since we've been seeing a lot of that push and pull going on with the Iran and Israel situation, right? And obviously, we haven't really seen anything change as of late. I mean, seems like there's peace, right? But I remember that there was it was like a tug of war going on in there, right? And now this is causing even more of a stir. You even have MTG, Marjorie Taylor Greene. I haven't said that woman's name in a minute on this show, okay? But you even got Marjorie Taylor Greene angry as hell, okay? And she's been like MAGA till she dies. She throwing out gang signs, okay? She been about that life, okay? She for the MAGA streets, you feel me? All right? And she been a bottom B for the MAGA camp. And she is even somebody who's out here going, what the hell? You know what I mean? Mad as hell about this situation. Real talk. So again, very interesting that there's a rift going on. Okay. I ain't celebrating about it. It doesn't change how I butter my bread in the morning. But at the same time, there's a lot of people mad about this situation, and a lot of it's going on internally inside of MAGA right now. That's crazy.
the backlash that the White House is very much feeling and understanding after this memo came out, despite President Trump the other day in the cabinet room asking, who still cares about this? One thing we know is the MAGA base certainly does.
All right, Caitlin Collins, thanks so much for that. We'll check back with you as you learn more. CNN senior justice correspondent Evan Perez is also with us. And so, Evan, is it your understanding that if Bongino were to resign, it's as a result of the infighting, including with the AG, Pam Bondi, or is it mostly over the disappointment of these Epstein files either not existing or not being released?
Well, look, I think Fred, there's a larger issue here, and I think if you look at Dan Bongino, he was a very successful podcaster. He had a very big following online, certainly very financially successful with his podcast that was a very, very strong appeal inside MAGA world. And this job really hasn't been, I think, very much fun. And if you've seen him doing some of his interviews in right-leaning media and conservative media, he has said as much. He has said that this job is taking a toll on his life, on his personal life, with his family. He's having to essentially be separated from them while he's here in Washington doing this job. It's not nearly what he's used to back in the days. Obviously, he is someone who came from law enforcement. So, I think there's a bigger story here in terms of what Bongino is thinking. But I certainly think part of what Caitlin laid out just now is partly the story here, and that is that there is some daylight between top FBI officials and top Justice Department officials over the handling of this Epstein matter. You'll remember that back in February, the Attorney General Pam Bondi led this event at the White House where they brought in all these MAGA influencers, these conservative influencers on social media, and gave them, with great ceremony, these binders that were supposed to contain these Epstein files. Turns out, though, most of the files were actually out there for years. And so it was a great embarrassment, both to Bondi and to FBI officials who really didn't have much role in this. And so that's where some of this begins and where you see some of the distance. And so I'll point out one quick thing that on social media today, Todd Blanche, the Deputy Attorney General, has tried to respond to some of the pushback from Lara Loomer and some of the other, and he has basically tried to point out that Kash Patel and Dan Bongino and the Justice Department leadership are all on the same page, that there is no daylight. If you look at the tweet, he says, the suggestion by anyone that there was any daylight between the FBI and DOJ leadership on this memo's composition and release is patently false. Now, he's referring to the memo that went out this week where they said there's no there, we're not releasing anything else. It's very clear, Fred, that there is daylight between the FBI and the Justice Department over the handling of this. And so we'll see how this plays out in the coming days and weeks. We don't know whether Bongino is coming back to work next week. It appears he's taken the day off. He's down in Florida somewhere. And so we don't know whether he's going to be back to work next week, but we certainly know that this is not a story that is going to go away because, as Caitlin pointed out just now, certainly MAGA world is not done with this. They want more, and they want to see more from those documents that the FBI still has.
MAGA is mad. Just saying that out loud. Now, let me just say this too. I get it. Bongino, him, possibly resigning over this whole trauma, all this drama that's going on revolving around this list. I don't blame him, because I feel like every single person that was behind this whole situation. I mean, let me just say this really quick. I do think that any person that was out here putting out the BS and talking about this list, the list, like it's the plane, you know what I mean? The entire time, I feel like, yeah, they should resign. But I'm going to tell you right now, that does not change the end result here. Just because, let's say Pam Bondi steps down, Kash Patel steps down, Dan Bongino steps down, it still does not answer the question that's looming over everybody's heads. What's up with this list? Remember, just because they leave, just because they go, and I am going to resign, I was very proud to serve my country and all that BS, right? It still does not change the fact that there are millions of people out here in the country that want to know about this list and want to know why they are hiding this list. Because I truly believe that this list is real. I don't know about you guys, but when you have people out here saying different things, talking about this doggone list, constantly saying it over and over and over again, you can't help but sit there and ask questions of, okay, then where is it, man? When you get the opportunity to show for yourself, why would you not? Why would you not show it? This is where they look like Boo Boo the Fool. This is where they look like fools with their pants on the ground. Real talk. And for some strange ass reason, they're trying to play us like we're dumb. We ain't dumb here. Because we remember things. This is where the screw up is, guys, right? We remember. We retain so much information, and the internet is so forever. You can't tell me that it suddenly doesn't exist when all you've been saying for years is that it does. Take a look at this video. Cash Patel, by the way, okay, on the Benny Show, all right? And he's talking about this list.
You say that the FBI has Epstein's list. They're sitting on it. That doesn't seem like something you should do. You're protecting the world's foremost predator. That seems like an evil thing to do, regardless of who may be embarrassed in the release of that list. Why is the FBI protecting the greatest pederast, the largest scale pederast in human history?
Simple, because of who's on that list.
You heard that, right? By the way, that's Cash Patel. That ain't just some random guy having a conversation, okay? Talking about the list. This is Cash Patel. He himself is sitting here saying, oh, yeah, there's a list. The list exists. Well, I mean, this obviously is a while away, some time ago, okay, since they came out with the BS saying that the list does not exist, okay, and saying that also he did this to himself. Now, again, like I said, I can give you the fact that, okay, maybe he did do that to himself, that unthinkable thing, right? He deleted himself. Cool. All right, bet. We can run with that. Cool. We can run with that. But you cannot tell me that after all these years of them talking about, oh, it's on the list. They're on the list. Their name's on the list. I've seen the list. I know the name's on the list. You can't suddenly say that those people don't actually exist on the list anymore. You just can't tell me the list doesn't exist. It doesn't make any sense. Let me run that back one more time.
You say that the FBI has Epstein's list. They're sitting on it. That doesn't seem like something you should do.
Let me roll that back again. Do you see how fast he was nodding his head?
You say that the FBI has Epstein's list. They're sitting on it.
Yeah. FBI has the list. Yeah.
Doesn't seem like something you should do. You're protecting the world's foremost predator. That seems like an evil thing to do, regardless of who may be embarrassed in the release of that list. Why is the FBI protecting the greatest pederast, the largest scale pederast in human history?
Simple, because of who's on that list.
Simple, because who's on that list? I'm just saying, you can't sit here for years talking about a list when you've had other opportunities to step forward and say, oh, that list doesn't exist. In fact, let me just pull up this one last clip. Okay. Pam Bondi. Okay. Pam Bondi saying what she's saying. Okay. Pam Bondi talking about the epi. Let's just bring up that clip one more time. There's a reason why I want to bring up this clip. Just one more again. Not the one where, Trump is filibustering while she gets a chance to kind of come up with her excuse, etc. Okay. Actually, there is another video. Hold on. Before I show you that one, here's the thing. Here it is. Let's just take a look at this here. Pam Bondi said that she had a truckload of Epstein files delivered to her, and she said the public has the right to know. Now she says there are no files and then closed the case. This is an impeachable offense. Now they're saying, of course, they're saying, please impeach Pam Bondi. She lied to the people. Let's just take a look at this video. I've never seen this one. So let's take a look at this. And this is her talking about the files. Again, she's out here saying, got a truckload of files on the Epi. I got a truckload. The people, the public deserve to know. You know what I mean? We deserve to know. You know what I mean? Going on her soapbox with the megaphone. We all need to know. The people need to know. America. You know what I mean? Kind of ridiculous, y'all. Kind of ridiculous, right? She's saying this on here. Same channel. Same station. Fox News. Let's take a listen.
We all did. And the FBI handed over a couple hundred pages of documents. But, you know, Sean, I gave them a deadline of Friday at 8 a.m. to get us everything. And a source had told me where the documents were being kept. Southern District of New York, shock. So we got them all by, hopefully all of them, Friday at 8 a.m. Thousands of pages of documents. I have the FBI going through them, and Cash is also, now that we have Cash here, it's a game changer, of course, and Cash is going to, Director Patel is going to get us a detailed report as to why the FBI withheld all of those documents.
Okay, I want to be clear because I think people got frustrated because they were expecting more. You were expecting more, and you didn't find out less than 24 hours before the release. You got a whistleblower that confirmed that there were way more documents that they were supposed to turn over, and then you found out just before that.
Well, sure. And you're looking at these documents going, these aren't all the Epstein files. You know, there were flight logs, there were names and victims' names. And we're going, where's the rest of the stuff? And that's what the FBI had turned over to us. And so a source said, whoa, all this evidence is sitting in the Southern District of New York.
Yeah.
So based on that, I gave them the deadline, Friday at 8, a truckload of evidence arrived. It's now in the possession of the FBI. Cash is going to get me and himself really a detailed report as to why all these documents and evidence had been withheld.
By the way, that's Cash Patel, FBI Director Cash Patel. Okay? Just so you know.
And, you know, we're going to go through it as fast as we can, but go through it very cautiously to protect all the victims of Epstein, because there are a lot of victims.
Well, you had identified in phase one over 254. Okay. Now, is that the only thing that would be redacted? Will everything else be made public that you get in your possession?
Yeah, the FBI hasn't had, obviously, they haven't looked at the thousands of pages of documents that they've just received Friday.
Yeah.
But Cash has a team going through them, and it's always about protecting the victim. But you know what? We believe in transparency, and America has the right to know. The Biden administration sat on these documents. No one did anything with them. And why were they sitting in the Southern District of New York? I want a full report on that. You know,
interesting. So remember, we have a tendency. We've been seeing a lot of things going on here, right? Where there's a tendency to kind of throw shade on past administrations and all that, and that's just something that we see all the time, right? It'll be like, oh, the past administration did such and such. The past administration did this, that, and the third. Interesting that they mentioned this here, and I agree. There's certain things that should have been said. Okay, there's a lot of things that should have been said. Even in the previous, even when Trump was in his first term, y'all. Okay. But that's the thing, right? Just me? Exactly, just me. This is the blame game. They go hardcore. They start pointing fingers at everybody. But here's the thing. She's sitting here going, okay, I'm going to take the righteous path because the Biden administration wasn't willing to expose this information. So I will. So we will, right? The public deserves to know. And then where are we at right now? Where are we at, right?
Sadly, these people don't believe in transparency, but I think more, unfortunately, I think a lot of them don't believe in honesty. And it's a new day, it's a new administration, and everything's going to come out to the public. The public has a right to know. Americans have a right to know.
And that goes the same with the JFK files,
JFK,
RFK files,
Martin
MLK.
Luther King. Yep, absolutely.
Mhm. What are the things that, and maybe some people don't understand the need to redact. In the case of a victim, that should be pretty obvious to people. What are the other things that maybe you would have to redact?
Well,
national security?
No, of course, national security, some grand jury information, which is always going to be confidential, but we'll see. Let's look through them as fast as we can, get it out to the American people, because the American people have a right to know, not only on that, but on Kennedy, on Martin Luther King, on all of these cases that the Biden administration has just sat on for all these years. So yeah, it's really, it's not sad. It's infuriating that these people thought that they could sit on this information, but they can't. It's a new day, and we believe in transparency.
Okay. Again, look at that. We believe in transparency, and look at that. This is not looking good. Again, they say, how dare the Biden administration not put all this information out here and expose the truth? The people deserve to know. People deserve to know the truth. They need transparency. And then they got the opportunity to do that. And what happened, guys? Like I said, what happened? Suddenly, the list doesn't exist. And the fact that they even say that now, after building this whole thing up, getting us all amped up to finally get to the place where they say the list doesn't exist is insulting. They're trying to treat us like we're dumb, like we were born yesterday. But that's not the case. You can't build this up, get everybody super hype, and say at the last minute, oops, my bad, it doesn't exist. You can't sit here, point blame, do the blame game, and point at the previous administration and say, well, what we're going to do over here, guys, because, you know, we're a different administration. Look at us. We're going to do it different. That's how we're going to do it, because we're a different administration. We're not like the Biden's administration. We're the Trump administration, so all we're going to do is show nothing but the truth. Nothing but transparency. Get ready for it, because you're going to lose your minds when you see the information. And then when you're waiting for it and it doesn't show up, you can't expect the public and the media not to be a little frustrated, if not infuriated, for you gassing everybody up for nothing. Let me show you guys. You just saw that video. I've never seen that video before. Okay, I've never seen that one, and I'm glad I saw it now, right? Because again, they point blame. This is something that we've seen a million times before, right?
Sure.
Oh, not that one. We've seen this a million times before. They'll go out of their way to point blame, and then they say, look at what we're going to do, because we're the best administration in the history of administrations, right? As soon as it's time to show up, it's time to nut up or shut up. What happens? What happens? Nothing. Of course people are going to be mad. Of course people are going to be pissed off. And of course people are going to start asking questions. This is not the thing. You don't, like, when you're doing a magic trick, okay? Here's the one thing. You don't want people asking questions on how the magic trick is done. So if you're about to do some big vanishing act, you can't just suddenly screw up the vanishing act. You see what I'm saying? Or you're about to do some huge reveal, like suddenly the Empire State Building disappears and you're trying to do the reveal and like some gets stuck. You know what I mean? The cloth gets stuck on a ring or something like that. People start asking questions. Then they go, where are the mirrors at? Where are the smokes? Where are the smoke machines and stuff? This ain't real. This is all illusion. You're just making it seem like the Empire State Building is going to disappear, but it's not actually real. That's all fake. So now they start asking questions. How did you make that magic trick happen? This is exactly what's happening right now. They say, hey, we're going to show you guys the list. And then they go, whoops, it's not here. It doesn't exist. Suddenly everyone else starts looking back at everything else and goes, wait a second. If they're lying to us about this, then what else are they lying to us about? They say, oh, it's the greatest, this, that, and the third. Is that really the truth? So on and so forth. We're doing tremendous work, tremendous stuff. It's the most amazing situation, blah, blah, blah. Are you really telling the truth now or no? See what I'm saying? This causes distrust, okay? This causes a rift, not only within the FBI and the Department of Justice and all that stuff, okay? it also causes a rift between the president, the administration, and the public. That's not what they want. They don't want, oh, the administration is lying to us. Oh, wait. If they're lying to us, what else are they lying to us about? You don't want that. That's the worst thing that ever happened. You don't want that. You want people going, oh, he's the greatest. He's the best president we ever had. He keeps on doing things. And my money, I'm fed. I'm well fed. And the economy's amazing. What he says is true, right? You don't want people asking questions. You don't want that. But now you're opening up the room for questions to be asked. And that can be a recipe for disaster. That's when you can get people turning away from you. That's when you see a rift in a party like the MAGA party. Let's be real. It's bad. It's very bad. Let's take a look at this.
DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to...
I stop it right there. Why? Let me repeat that one more time for you so it can go and sink all the way down to your plums. Take a listen to it one more time, okay? One more time. What did she say? She had an opportunity right off the gate to answer that and say, oh, actually, hold up. I have the files. I have not seen anything about a list yet. I just want to make that abundantly clear, everybody. I have not seen a list, but the files are on my desk. She doesn't say that. Take a listen. One more again. No, one more time for you. One more time. One more time.
DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review.
Let's see if she finishes and says, actually, it's just the file, and I have not seen any lists so far. Just so you know, I have not seen a list. She doesn't say that. She doesn't. She had an opportunity, though. That window was open. She should have jumped right through it, but she didn't.
That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK files. That's all in the process of being reviewed because that was done at the directive of the president from all of these agencies.
Let's continue.
So have you seen anything that you said, oh my gosh?
Not yet.
Okay. So she says, I haven't seen anything aghast, that nothing ghastly, nothing shocking, nothing that's made me go, oh, clutch my pearls, but still an opportunity. She could have said, I have yet to see a list. I've been looking and I haven't seen a list yet. She could have said in the very beginning, I have the files. I have yet to stumble upon a list yet. But of course, when we get into that conversation, we will get there, but I've yet to see a list. She does not say that though. She doesn't. Now, here's the thing. She could literally have misspoken. Because she says in the other video that we saw where Trump's like, I really don't understand. I don't understand why everybody's still talking about all this stuff. What are you guys talking about Epstein for? Remember? She says in that, well, what I really meant was that I was looking at that the files were on my desk. She could have still said that that here too, but she doesn't. She does not. One more time for the nosebleed seats.
DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review.
Sitting on my desk to review.
That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK.
It's a directive by the president. It is a directive by the president to look this issue up and talk about it and look at this and look at this list. She had an opportunity then. She had an opportunity in that other video that we saw where she's sitting there going, the public needs to know. The public needs to know. Now, if the public needs to know, the public should have known right then too, if there was no list that existed. You see what I'm saying? Because like I said, perfect opportunities for all of these things to be completely laid out and corrected. There have been plenty of opportunities. But everyone that's been a part of this administration, or at least the ones that were spearheading the list conversation, they are all looking like fools right now because they've gone on interviews and gone on shows saying certain things, alluding to the fact that there is a list. And then suddenly now that list does not exist. You got people that are going to be mad. You got people wanting to get people fired. demanding that they resign, that they step down, etc. This is not good, guys. It's all wrong. It's all wrong. Sue, thank you so much for the love. List is real. I think so too. I truly think that the list is real. You have Alan Dershowitz, someone who has worked with Epstein, okay, was his lawyer. He even said himself, I actually believe him. He's like, I've seen the list. The list exists. There are names. I know there are names, and I can't even say them because of court rulings and stuff like that, right? Court orders that he can't say anything. I truly believe that he's seen the list. And I think all these other people have seen lists like Pam Bondi, like Dan Bongino, like Patel. I believe that. And in fact, I'm like, why step down? Because it's not going to change anything. People are still going to demand the truth. Is that the right choice for them to step down? I don't know. I really don't know. It's very interesting. Happy days. Thank you so much. Thursday, Friday, happy days. So as long as Jizzy is alive, okay, there is a list. I agree. I'm sorry, you can't sit here and tell me that it doesn't exist when he was flying people back and forth. People were flying to his private little island and all that. People were flying in and out. These people were on his plane as well. Not just Bill Clinton, not just Gates. Okay, Bill Gates. Okay. Other people as well. All right. She could sell it to the highest bidder, Elon. Maybe, you never know. Maybe Elon will say something, because I don't think Elon would say something like what he said in that tweet, which is basically saying like, Trump's on the list. Have a good day, DJT, right? Like, I just don't think he would lie about that kind of stuff. I just don't. I get him, feeling some type of way about his relationship with Trump and feeling some type of way about the big, beautiful bill. But at the same time, I just don't see, I ain't friends with Elon. I'm not sitting here saying that I'm a hardcore fan or anything, but I just feel like, why would he say something that destructive, right, about somebody? Because then Trump could be like, I'm suing you for defamation, slander, period. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Mimi, thank you so much for the love for both super stickers. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so very much. Jet Black, what's up? Thank you so much for for gifting one member. Jet Black just gifted one member. Welcome to the family. Whoever just became a member, please do me a favor. She just gave you some love. All I ask for you to do is pay it forward, okay? Open the door for somebody, buy somebody a drink, make them some coffee, whatever. Okay. Call up that old friend of yours that you haven't talked to in a minute. You know what I mean? And just chop it up with them. Just do something positive with that. Okay. Pay it forward. That's all I ask. Okay. But again, like I said, this is some very, very interesting stuff. We don't really tap super hardcore into the politics stuff, but this was definitely something that was on my radar. And I felt like we had to talk about it because honestly, this is some weird, strange movements going on. And it's crazy that things are happening internally that are starting to fall apart. It's bad. But we are not dumb. We as people, we as consumers and viewers watching this whole thing happen on the world stage, and we're thinking for ourselves, we can't deny that something fishy just happened. Now, they could very well be telling the truth, that Epstein's list does not exist. But then I say, there have been so many opportunities for them to step forward, okay? And tell the truth and say, hey, there is no list. They've had plenty of opportunities to do that. They could have even turned to Trump. Let me just say this too. Even while he was on his campaign trail, and he's like, we're going to drain the swamp. We're going to drain the swamp. We're going to do it. Right? He said all those things, right? We're going to expose the Epstein list. That's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. He said all that stuff, right? We're going to expose the list. People could have gone up to him and said, hey, the list doesn't exist, actually. We're not going to talk about that anymore because the list doesn't exist. Okay? Just don't say that anymore. because the people are going to want us to produce that actual list. But that list does not exist. Okay, Mr. Trump. Okay. Go on and have a good time. Enjoy that Big Mac. They had an opportunity to do that, but they didn't do that. Now, did they? They let him continue going out there. Drain, baby, drain, right? Constantly over and over and over again, right? Drain the swamp. We're going to drain the swamp over and over again. And then what happened? Okay. Yes. Life is good. Promiseth, promiseth. Okay. Promiseth, promiseth. Right? So it's not great. Okay. Not good. And we'll see how it transpires. But again, like I said before, they had plenty of opportunities to correct this, and they did not. And here's the other thing, too. Maybe the reason why the Biden administration did not bring up the list is because maybe the list really didn't exist back then, too. Maybe that's why they didn't even talk about it. Think about that for a second. Oh, my God. Whoa. It's like we're falling in a endless pit. Whoa. Think about that for a second, yo. Think about that for a second. What if there wasn't a list at all? And maybe that's the reason why we never heard anything from the Biden administration. I'm just saying, entertain that thought for a second. And yet he's out here going, we're going to expose it all. Drill, baby, drill, right? Possible. But I don't think so either. I think there's a list. You know what I mean? We're going to see how this transpires, guys. Okay? We're going to see how that transpires. So real quick, guys, because I know some people are asking, what's this Raw podcast? Well, Nicole B., let me explain something to you, okay? Before we wrap up the shizo, all right? And of course, definitely let me know your thoughts on everything, okay? Because, like I said, this is absolutely crazy. I am still side-eyeing the hell out of this situation. In my personal opinion, I think that the list still does exist. It most definitely does. They just really dropped the ball and they screwed up. And I'm wondering who they're trying to cover for. And I honestly, you know what? Honestly, I'm going to say something kind of wild. Like I don't already say wild things on the show, but I don't think it has anything to do with Trump. Meaning, I don't think that Trump has anything to do with anything criminally. Yes, I'm saying that. I think that he's covering for somebody else, maybe somebody who's lining his pockets or something of that sort. Because you know what? China Joe just said this real quick before we go into this other conversation here. Let me explain something to you. China Joe, let me just say this. And I understand you saying what you said. But let's just think about this for a second. You really think that Trump would not expose previous presidents of the past if they were doing bad things? Are you kidding me? It's a perfect opportunity to make him look like he is the bee's knees, that he is godlike, that he is almost a Jesus figure, right? He would never do anything bad or do anything of that sort. But all these other previous presidents, they're all very bad. Look at all of them. They're on this list. Take a look at the list. Look how dirty and nasty they are, right? Think about that for a second. He would revel. He would relish in that opportunity. He would absolutely relish in that. He wouldn't sit there going, nope, I'm not going to expose any of the presidents because, they used to serve our country. They served our country, Like, no, he's not going to do that. He's going to go, no, let's show him. If it's Clinton, show it. If it's Biden, if it's Ray, anybody, you'll be like, expose them all. They're all terrible. They're all terrible, right? I'm the bomb. They're terrible, right? Seriously, he would. So he's not protecting any presidents. He may be protecting some very big wigs that have a lot of money that aren't in the forefront, the 1% of the 1%ers. That's still a possibility. But real talk, this mother lover out here, nah. If he had an opportunity to knock every single other president that was on that island down a few pegs, he gonna jump on that mother-loving boat so hard and run that into the island, okay? And let that island go up in flames. Real talk. And watch and go, see what I did? I'm a superhero. I just saved the world. Look at what I did. I'm awesome. By the way, I'm Trump. I'm the president. See, I take care of us. I take care of our country. You know what I mean? I just don't think he would be that kind of guy who would just try to hide the presidents. Okay? If it was Obama, oh my God, he would be like, send the list out. What are you doing? Put it out there. Put it out there. Obama's on the list. Obama's on the list. He would do everything he could to show how dirty and wrong these other people were and how pristine and angelic he is. Let's be real. Come on now. Let's call it like it is. Doesn't matter if you're a fan of him or not. Let's just call it like it is. All right. And that's the truth. All right. Every opportunity that he gets, he always is, you know, his administration is going like he's the best Trump. He's the best president ever to ever exist for this country. There's no argument about that. That's truth. What they say every time they go up there. His amazing leadership. Without him, there would be no America. President Trump. He is incredible. He is the bee's knees. He is the best thing since sliced bread. It was the best turnout ever. You know what I mean? That's what we see all the time. With all due respect, that's what we see. So if there was an opportunity to drain the swamp and expose all of these other presidents, he would, without a question. All right. Now, here's the other thing. All right. Oh, dear Lord. The Macron's situation, dear God. That one's crazy too. We haven't even talked about that. That's some crazy stuff. We won't talk about that another time. Okay. But let me just tell you guys, let me peep you on a little bit of game. Okay. Let me peep you on some game real quick. Okay. First and foremost, I have a podcast. Okay. It's a separate podcast. It's only coming up once a week. Looks like it's going to be every Sunday. Okay. That it will be coming out, where I am talking about a slew of different things, okay, from everything that's happened in the week. It's kind of like a recap thing and just talking about personal things and just having some fun, just talking freely about things, okay? It is called Pascal Raw, okay? This is like, it's a very, very brand new channel. I just started this channel, okay? And I'm asking you guys, the link is pinned to the top of the chat, okay? It's right there at the top of the chat. All I'm asking you guys to do before you go and leave and you know, go have your cocktails for the night and watch your respective Netflix show and go out and kick it and get wasted. All I'm asking you guys to do is to go over to that channel and just quickly subscribe. If every single last one of y'all go and subscribe right now, we'll be past 500 subscribers. I have 258 subscribers on that. Wow. So fast. That's amazing. Okay. So again, if you guys can go click on the link that's pinned to the top of the chat, and I'll make sure it's in the description box if you guys are watching the show later on. Okay. If you're watching this in a later show, all I'm asking you guys to do is go check out the video, hear what I got to say. Again, this is raw, so it's an uncensored show. I'm going to speak more freely. It's not a live show. It's just pre-recorded podcast stuff where I'm just talking about what has happened over the week, or if there's like one big main topic that's going on for the week, you know what I mean? Then I'm talking about that. And I'm just talking, it's just a free-form conversational type of podcast. You know what I mean? Where I'm just having some fun and just letting loose, because there's certain things I can talk about on this platform. You know what I mean? But this is going to be something different where I can just say wherever the hell I want. Okay. Without any worries about, angering certain sides of the spectrum or political spectrum or whatever. I can just say my piece and what I think about what's going on in the world truthfully, right? On my end. Yes, it's less corporate. Exactly, Nicole B. You know what I mean? Where I'm just able to chop it up, have some good times, talk to you guys about things, and if there's little anecdotes about my life, I'm talking about those things in there too. You know what I mean? Because a lot of crazy things happen on my day-to-day, real talk, okay, that I don't really talk that much about on here. It's usually we got to get straight into the news. We got to get straight into the information. So this is more of a podcast, free-form, chilled out situation where I can talk about anything I want. And so, again, this is where you're going to be able to go to that. And just like I said, 45 minutes to an hour, maybe a little bit more, depending on what we're talking about on the show. You know what I mean? Some shows are going to be more robust than others. I'll be able to just talk to you guys. I'm not going to have any screens. I'm not reading any articles or any titles from anything. I'm just shooting from the hip, talking to you guys about things that I want to talk about and just have a good time. So go over. It's Pascal Raw. Go check it out. This is definitely something I really want to embark on more. And like I said, this will be a weekly podcast that you'll get, and hopefully it'll be on Audible platforms in the near future. But for right now, just wanted to get this out there. You guys keep talking about how you want me to do more kind of stand-up type stuff. So this is my step in that direction. You know what I mean? And just trying to work some things out with you guys as I'm doing these podcasts. Okay. So, and then, eventually there'll be interviews on this platform as well. That'll be a lot more, like I said, a lot more raw, because it's just going to be conversations with people. But that's down the line. For right now, it's just creating a weekly show. We talk about things that are going on. It's my comedic and my bizarre take on the world. And just, have some fun. So please go over to the channel. Okay. First episode's coming out on Sunday. So, and I'm really looking forward to it. So again, make sure you are tuned in. I don't have a specific time when it's going to be dropping or anything. It just will drop on Sunday. Okay. So all I ask you guys to do is, of course, subscribe over there. Make sure you hit that notification bell so that you know whenever I'm live, or not live, but whenever I upload, you know what to get right there, talking about whatever the hell is going on. Like I said, mostly it's going to be lighthearted, fun stuff, but you never know. I mean, shoot, it's whatever the show takes me, right? So I'm really looking forward to it. Okay. So just so you know, go check it out, go over there, subscribe. Okay. I'm trying to get to 1,000 so I can get this channel monetized. So if you can, please go and subscribe immediately, while we're here or after we're done here. That would really, really be awesome. Yes, I will still, in the S-dubs, I will still have the clips channel for this show. So the Pascal Show clips still exists. Yes. So that will still exist. That still definitely exists, because there's so many things I'm talking about in these shows now. And these shows are getting so robust, so big that, I want to put out clips and put them onto the second channel. So, and then there may be a clips channel for the Raw podcast if it does well, right? But for right now, I'm just trying to get that one up and running, get that popping. Okay. And then, of course, the Pascal Show clips and the Pascal Show, we're still here. We ain't changing. Okay. If there's if a bomb goes off, or if there's, a flood going on, or if Brian Kohlberger does something dumb, you know what I mean? We going to talk about it. We going to be here, and I'm still going to give you guys the news and all that. So this is going nowhere. Okay. This is still going to stay here. But now this channel, this is kind of a little bit more for me, just a little bit more for me. Doing this stuff, which, don't get me wrong, I don't mind. I love doing the news. I love what I do. But this gives me a little bit more room to just have a little bit more fun with what I want to talk about. And there's a lot of things I want to talk about that I don't really get to talk about that much here on this platform. You see what I'm saying? So, in more of a casual way. So I'm really looking forward to doing that. Like I said, this is going to be something that you could just turn on, go for a run, go on a bike ride, go and chill. You know what I mean? Sit on your porch, enjoy your white wine, and look at nature as I'm talking about how the world is freaking crazy. You know what I mean? So that's it, you know, and then maybe this will graduate into something much more. We'll see. We'll see. But for right now, all I'm asking you guys to go and do is to go and subscribe. Immediately go over there after this and subscribe. That'll be greatly appreciated. And you'll be seeing that first episode on Sunday for sure. First episode will be out Sunday, and I can't wait to spend that time with you guys. It's going to be fun. I'm a little nervous, but when you get nervous, that's a good thing. So I'm really hype about it. Real talk. But anyway, guys, that is the show. Again, please click the link up in the top of the chat right now. Go and subscribe to that second channel, please and thank you. Okay? Go to Pascal Raw. Go check it out. Some stuff coming. I'm very, very excited. Very excited. All right? Oh, where we can go with that channel. I can't wait. I really can't wait. Okay? But do me a favor before we leave. Please and thank you. Hit that like button down below. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on other platforms. If you are watching on those other platforms like Facebook, X/, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick, I'm on all them mother lovers. So go hit that reaction button. Don't forget to hit that follow button over there on all those platforms. Subscribe here on my main channel, okay? Go to my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips. Subscribe over there. And then, of course, go to my new channel, Pascal Raw. Subscribe over there as well. That would be greatly, greatly appreciated. Okay? That'd be amazing. Thank you. All right. We got some really great things coming. So make sure all of them have notification bells set to all. Okay? So you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, etc. So make sure you do all that. Please and thank you. Okay? Hit that join button down below. Become a member here on this channel. Check out my Patreon. Check out my Patreon. Check out my locals. And, of course, check out PascalMerch.com. I may be on a little bit in a few hours, just so you guys know there's been some new updates revolving around another case. So be on the lookout for that. It is Friday, so it is Friday night. So we going to talk. If there's something to talk about, we will be talking. So I may be on in just a few hours. So appreciate all you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much if you have gone and subscribed to the Pascal Raw channel. I really do appreciate it. You guys mean the world to me, okay? Seriously, I wouldn't be doing that other channel, this podcast channel, if it wasn't for you guys and your encouragement. I'm being dead serious, okay? So thank you. Thank you so, so very much. But again, we got to get going. I'll probably see you guys here in just a minute, okay? So y'all be good to yourselves. Talk to you guys soon. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is the Pascal Show. Bye.